Michelle Hobbs spends a lot of time at some of Australia's most beautiful waterways. She's searching for one of the world's highly threatened and imperiled groups of animals, the freshwater mussel.
Typical day in the field, we rock up in the truck and we walk down and have a look, see if the site is suitable. We will deploy a water quality probe, take some measurements of that, and then we'll start looking for mussels. So that means sticking your hands in all of the dark holes and in the mud on the sides of the banks.
It can be laborious work, but it's all part of a critical effort to collect baseline data on mussel populations in Australia.
It's really important to get a handle on what the populations are like at the moment, so we've got something to compare to in the future.
It's important to be aware of any declines in numbers or changes in distribution, given the enormous role mussels play in our ecosystems and communities. Not only do they clean the rivers they live in by removing algae and bacteria from the water, they're also culturally significant to many Indigenous peoples worldwide. But mussels are facing increasing pressure from threats such as dams, water pollution and extraction, as well as climate change.
We really have to turn to the First Peoples to incorporate their knowledge. There's an enormous wealth of information there that we can make use of.
That's an approach Hobbs is taking in her own research as a PhD candidate and associate lecturer at the Australian Rivers Institute at Brisbane's Griffith University. She plans on working with First Peoples across Queensland and New South Wales to bring their insights on water management to the forefront. She's also looking to travel to Canada and the USA to collaborate with Indigenous researchers there. Hobbs is one of 2 recipients of the 2023 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Scientist Award, which recognises outstanding students and early and mid-career researchers in the physical and biological sciences.
It's a huge honour, it really is. I know I stand on the shoulders of everybody who's gone before me, so I just really hope that I can make a really positive contribution with my research.
Stephanie Beaupark describes herself as both a scientist and an artist.
When I started out at university, I just knew I loved chemistry and I loved being an artist. And so I just studied both and I kind of let it lead me to where I've come to today.
And that's to study the chemistry of eucalyptus dyes, including the ones she uses in her own artworks.
I want to know what causes the colour, like what compounds are involved, what combination bind together to make the dye itself. I just want to know the bigger picture of how dyes work.
This curiosity first came about when Beaupark was doing an internship on Indigenous knowledges of climate and weather patterns in Western Sydney. The internship got her thinking about how natural dyes change across the Indigenous calendar seasons. To answer those questions, Beaupark is now making her own dye in her lab at the University of Wollongong, where she is a PhD student and associate lecturer. She's in the process of doing this with her favourite species, the Eucalyptus cinerea, which produces a bright red dye. Beaupark says she ultimately wants this process and her PhD project to be collaborative and community-led.
This project, I'm making it start off really open so that we can be driven in the direction that community wants it to be.
Beaupark says she's excited to receive the 2023 Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander Scientist Award, but not just for the recognition. She has been searching for a way to reimburse artists and knowledge holders for their help on her project.
So this enables me to do that the right way and just make sure that people get the benefit that they deserve for their knowledge.